Welcome back, everybody, to the North Central Washington MVP series brought to you by Career Connect Washington and the Apple STEM Network. I'm your host, Carrie Horning, Career Connected Learning Specialist with NCESD 171. So the goal today is the same as every day that we do the MVP podcast. We really want to introduce our community partners throughout North Central Washington to one another, as well as to the amazing events and programs that are taking place here. When looks like each of you leaving with a greater understanding of the work being done all around North Central Washington. So grab your lunch, sit back, and get ready for an extra dose of professional nourishment. Today, it's my pleasure to introduce Ashley Curtin. She and I work together at the NCESD. She is a transition coordinator. Welcome in, Ashley.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. This is going to be so fun. So actually, I kind of want to, preview this. This was not on the normal schedule. We're calling this our little mini MVP. It's kind of post session, but I think it's really great information, and I'm really glad that you agreed to, to be here with us today to tell us all about the services. So before we get started, I make a habit of, trying to have a little bit of fun and breaking the ice. So I like to talk about kind of a fun fact. Ashley and I had a little bit of a conversation around the fact that she's hiked part of the PCT, which total superhero in my book. I think that's amazing. So tell us a little bit about that.
I really enjoy hiking. I have mountaineered quite a bit. And after doing some research, I decided I wanted to do the Pacific Crest Trail. On a teacher schedule, I could only do kind of a state at a time. So back in 2015, I reached out to a bunch of friends and I found someone that was willing to do the Washington section with me. And then the following summer, I found another teacher friend who was able to do the Oregon with me. So far I've done 2 of the 3 states, and eventually I might do the 3rd one.
That is so cool. I love that. Oh my gosh. And you know what? I want to go. Can I go with you?
Yeah, we could totally do the California section.
All right, I'm in. I love that. So, well, listen, I know we've got a lot to cover today. So, are you ready to do this?
Yeah.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Okay, so tell us a little bit about the role at the ESD that you hold. What is that?
Technically, my title is transition coordinator, but I focus on PREA, which everyone calls, which is pre-employment transition services.
Okay.
I also just help a lot of districts make connections to resources for outside of the K-12 system.
Yeah, excellent. So then how did this position come into existence? Because I know just in the short time that I've been with the NCSD, it is just, it's, you know, growing exponentially. So how did your position come to be?
So this is a brand new position. This year was the first year that it started. We had some upper leadership in the ESD 171 that were talking to districts, and they were talking about that they need more transitional services. And so they reached out to DVR, Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, and then we kind of partnered with them to be able to create my position that goes into schools and does pre-employment transition services. So
I love this. I know, as we kind of prepped for this, and I'm sure I'll talk about it more, but as we prepped for this, I shared with you that I had IEP student, one of my daughters, and, it's so important what you do. So thank you again for sharing this out with us. So let's kind of get into some of the, meat and potatoes of, of the role. Who does this program serve?
We actually could serve a whole lot of students. We can serve 14 through 21 students that have an IEP 504 or other diagnosed disability. So really anyone that fits into those roles and actually are eager to get extra services, we can help support.
Okay, so if I'm a parent, which I am, how do I learn about this? How do I figure out that you're out there offering these services?
So there's a couple different ways that parents can get involved. Typically, we go through school districts, but you guys can always go to the ESD website. I do have a web page on there. So just type in pre-employment transition services with the ESD, and it should pop it right up. Otherwise, a huge piece of this is talking to districts saying that you would like your students to get involved. Just saying like, hey, is there anything that fits into this? Because not only myself, but we have other people that can also provide these services.
Yeah, yeah, it's interesting, when we, as a family, were, raising our daughter and learning the whole process of an IEP. I just felt like I didn't know where to go. I didn't know who to go to, and the school district, obviously was doing everything they could to help us. But sometimes it's not enough, and they are there to serve the entire community, not just my child. So I think it's really important for parents to become an advocate, for their own students. So it's so great we've got this resource. Um, so what actually led you to this work? Because I know it takes a special human being, and I'm super grateful for everyone in special services. So how did you get here?
So, for the last decade or more, I have been a secondary special education teacher. And back in 2018, I kind of wanted to like pivot my role a little bit. I was looking in to get my master's, and I found someone who actually, ironically, it's the person who I did the PCT with in the Washington section. He went back to school for his adult education degree because he wanted to do workforce development to help prepare kids for the real world. So then we sat and talked about that a ton. So back in 2018, I found a program that was adult education with workforce development as a focus. And so that's what I did. And I finished it back in 2020. I didn't get to graduate and do all that stuff. I'm still excited that I did that pathway because I feel like it led me here and it's a great position and I really like helping students and staff.
Well, I'm glad you did too, and I'm glad you landed here. But this is also kind of a perfect segue. So you shared a little bit about your buddy that you hiked with, and kind of that journey that led you. So what exactly are pre-employment transition services?
So they can look different. There's technically 5 different areas of pre-ETS or pre-employment transition services. Right now, I'm able to do 3 of them. 2 of them are workshops within the classroom setting or within a school setting. It's workplace readiness. And with that is it's doing a lot of the soft skills. I know we've talked a lot about soft skills.
Yes.
Time management, flexible, critical thinking, communication, professionalism, all of that good stuff.
Yeah.
And then the second workshop is actually self-advocacy skills, which I really love to talk about because I think that kids don't know how to voice things, especially with someone with a disability, talking about when they need to advocate for themselves, how they advocate for themselves, how to appropriately do it, what's their rights and responsibilities. So
Yeah.
that's something that I can go and help teachers and students kind of work on so that the kids are ready for the workplace.
Yeah.
The third area is probably my favorite though, because it gets the kids out of the school setting. I really like getting the kids outside of the walls of this classroom because they're there so much.
Yeah.
With that is work-based learning is the third area. So there's a couple different areas of that. We have internships, which can be paid and unpaid. I personally prefer that the students get paid because I like them to be able to have that and feel successful.
Yeah.
There's also informational interviews where they work with businesses and talk about what the business is like, what their requirements are, what a typical day looks like.
Mhm.
There's also job site tours. We can take kids into tours and go explore jobs, and that's just a fun one, kind of like field trips. And so those are just ways to get kids to see what different jobs are out there.
Yeah. I mean, we're so parallel. I mean, this is career connected learning, right? You just have a specialty focus, with some of our students you have a little bit different pathway. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
that
think
is super perfect.
a lot of the ESD leadership, when they were creating my position, they actually really wanted us to work hand in hand just because this is very similar. Mine's just more focused with the students that are IEP 504 or other diagnosed disability. It's just an extra resource that we can provide those students.
Yeah. Well, all of this is so important because literally, like I said, this is career connected learning. This is what we're doing as well throughout the 29 different school districts. So, but for the purposes of this MVP, if I put my hat on as a parent and I'm hearing this and all of these things, could potentially be available to my student, you're suggesting go into the school districts and ask for it, go to the website, learn more about it. Anything else that I should know as a parent?
I am one of the biggest barriers that we have had with pre-ETS in general. Even DVR has told us it's every student that participates in pre-ETS or pre-employment transition services does have to have a consent form.
Mhm.
And so what we've been working on this year is making sure that every single kid is getting their consent forms filled out. We've been talking to all of the teachers and all of the special ed directors and all of that. Because if they fill it out at the age of 14 when they qualify for services, it's good and forever. So it
Perfect.
makes it so that they can then have an internship if they would like one, or get extra workshops if they're interested in that as well.
So two questions come to mind again, and I'm still kind of in my parent hat. Does a link to that form live on your website on the NCESD?
Yes, we do have a lot of that. Also, there's contact information on the website. So just reach out if you guys can't find it. My name's Ashley, so it's pretty easy to find on there, Ashley Curtin.
All right. Okay. Actually, you just answered my question. So now if I go back to kind of that career connected learning hat, and we're talking about these internships and the job site tours, it is a big push right now for all of us in education, not just at the NCESD 171, but for all of our educators to get these paid career work experiences for our students, especially by the time they graduate. So I'm with you. I'm all on board on that whole paid internship, paid apprenticeship. Your students certainly are capable of coming out there and working, getting involved in the businesses and learning how to how to get up and go to work every day and earn a paycheck and feel that sense of accomplishment and pride, as we're doing the same thing across the board across our district. So I love hearing that that's happening. So anybody who is an employer watching this, you've probably already heard from me encouraging you to consider some job shadows, some paid internships, but don't forget that we've got the pre-ETS program as well, and that's another fantastic way to bring some students in. So excellent. All right, so thank you for sharing all that. So let's talk a little bit about the goals of this program, because I personally, with Career Connected Learning, understand it very well, but I want to make sure that our listeners understand that. So again, you might have a parent listening, you might have a business owner listening, you might have an educator listening that was like, wait, I didn't know this was out here. So what are the goals of the pre-ETS program?
So our ultimate goal is to get kids jobs after high school, obviously, but we kind of look back at like what makes students successful in that job. We just don't want them to get a job and not be able to maintain it, or a job that they like. So our goal is to make sure that they have the skills that they need to have a job that they want, to be able to switch or pivot to a job that they do like, that they feel successful in. So we want them to have the soft skills, hard skills. We want them to have a resume by the time they leave. We want them to have a resume that has some meat and potatoes to it. So that's where the internships come in. We're allowed to do 120 hours of internships per student per year. And so our goal is to get the kids internships and be able to test out multiple jobs so that they can figure out what they like, what they don't like, and try to find something that they have a passion for.
Yeah.
A lot of kids don't know what is out there when it comes to jobs. So that is a goal. So besides building skills, building the resume before that they leave the high school, our next piece of our goal is to partner with businesses. We have a lot of really small districts out here in 171, and they want to give back to the students in their community. And so they have an opportunity to join us in helping provide these experiences. And the cool thing is that it's at no additional cost to them, so that we can help provide that for them, and we can partner with them. So
Yeah. It's I've been thinking about this since we were prepping, that it's like the chicken and the egg. Our businesses, as we work with them and are building these relationships and really introducing them to what our students might have capacity for, they're also saying, we want these students coming to us ready to show up on time and, with some of the soft skills and some of the hard skills, but they're really more interested in those soft skills. They could teach the hard skills. But it's this chicken and the egg. Well, we can't get them to you with experience unless you take that opportunity to bring them in ahead of time and help give that to them, teach that to them and provide it. So this is a perfect connection, and it's a perfect opportunity for us to just drive home that message. Like the kids need the social capital. They want it. They want to have these careers. They want to have these the responsibilities. So help us provide that for them. So I love it. I love it.
businesses are super eager right now too. So the nice thing is like I have a really small district, or I should say a small community
Mhm.
out yonder. But with that is they have like a ton of openings, and I was talking to them about, and they just need students. And so I've been going to the school districts and say, hey, if they can get the consent form, I have internships ready to go. So we're just hoping that we can make that happen.
Yeah, let's offline about that later. I want to jump in on that too. If you if you don't have enough students to fill it, let's go. Let's let's partner up. So excellent. Okay. So now what if I put on my educator hat and I'm a district and I didn't actually know that this was out there, or maybe I'd heard about it but didn't have a second to really dig into it. What do I need to know? How can I get involved?
So when you are an educator and you're interested in pre-ETS, you're definitely able to try to contact. We have DVR representatives for each county, but also you can reach out to me. I just always am again telling staff that they just have to be providing the consent forms right at the age of 14 so that we can get them in and going. A lot of times I've had people try to sign up students and they already have a consent on file, so we can start like with zero wait time, and it's really fun.
Yeah.
And so we just want to make sure that if there's any barriers that we're able to try to eliminate those so the students can have the services.
Yeah. When I think back to the meetings that we went through, every year to go through your IEP and to check it out, make sure that things, everything's, the I's are dotted and the T's are crossed, everything's happening. In my opinion, it would have been a perfect time for me to sign that permission slip. So what year would that have made sense? At the end of the year IEP, we're going over everything. Would I be doing that in junior high?
Eighth or ninth grade, depending upon their year. So it's the age of 14.
Okay.
So we could start at their junior high or their first year of high school, as long as the teachers are interested in it. If not, the parents can start advocating for those skills as well.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned it before, the advocating is crucial. Like I said, our districts, our educators are busy. They're wearing multiple hats. Obviously, they're dealing with more than just teaching. How great would that be if our educators could just walk into the classroom and teach? But we all know there are so many more facets to that school day. So for the parents to get involved and advocate, I think is just so important. Just even, from my personal experience. So I love that you mentioned that. I feel like I have a really good understanding of the pre-ETS program. I'm thinking we've kind of shared out a lot of information about it. That's good. But is there anything that you think that we haven't had a chance to cover that you'd like to?
I think that my biggest thing is that I just want to kind of like end with is if any businesses are interested in helping support students in the districts, definitely reach out. There's probably a student waiting to help fulfill some needs and gain some work experience that could really be valuable in the long run. So definitely we want to make sure that we end on that note, just trying to make sure that we leave it open for businesses. So
Absolutely. And that's across the board. I mean, I believe I'm gonna say this, and I think I'm close. So, don't quote me, but know that I'm in the ballpark. I believe by 2030, 60% of our high school graduates have to have a paid work experience as part of their graduation requirements. And we cannot make that happen without the partnerships of our businesses. So I think that's a beautiful note to end on. And we'll make sure that this gets distributed, far and wide across not only educators, but our industry partners so that they can see, what our offerings are and what our needs are. They may not know that is, a deliverable for all of our educators, and then to let them know and give them the information and see if they can kind of step in, lean in and help would be terrific. That'd be amazing if every student had an internship of some sort, paid internship of some sort. That would be incredible. So
yeah.
Ashley, this was fabulous. I feel like I want to go back and talk more about the PCT, but we'll offline more when we talk about that district that has that
Lots
business
of
partner
opportunities.
that has, some openings. So, well, listen, thank you for being a part of MVP. I know I kind of tagline this, our little mini MVP. I appreciate having you. I know you're a busy gal, but we'll get this out there and hopefully, create some more business.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me, Carrie. Bye.
No problem. Thank you for coming on.